Abram Humble A+. Abram got some nerfs. Abrams is pretty counterable. A lot of things Abrams does is counterable, but he still gets away with it due to lack of game knowledge. Like, for example, his ult can just be parried without duration extender instantly in the early game when you get tower dove. You can't ult heavy melee at all. A lot of Abrams do this and just get away with it, but you can just parry every Abrams ult early game. That's pretty easy to do, and a lot of Abrams shoulder charges just don't work and can just be parried now as well. And if you just buy Debuff Reducer, he can just be parried, and he's very tanky, but you can just buy Decay for 1200, and then he's countered also. So I think he's good. Bebop. Other than the Death Star Laser Bebop build, Bebop is B for Bebop. He's just like a mid character. He's like a noob farm character. He's like good at abusing people with bad positioning in lane, but like without the Death Star build, characters just like falls off. Let's see, Dynamo. I honestly think Dynamo is S. It's just an OP character. Has everything in his kit with OP team fighting, never falls off. The worst player on the team can play Dynamo and have impact. It's just kind of how it is. Let's see, Great Talon. I think Great Talon is a high B. I think Great Talon got so many nerfs. Like, compared to other things you can be playing, it's just not even that strong of a pick. Like, at all. All the cooldown nerfs, the arrow nerfs, it's just not even that good, to be honest with you. Compared to other things that are in the game right now, it's just not that relevant. Haze, I think Haze is A-. I think Haze can have really high impact with her ult build consistently. But, once again, kind of similar to Abrams, it's like, you can just deny her farm like you do with Sevens. You can also, she's not that strong early. You can buy Metal Skin. You can, it's not like, it's strong, but it's not like game-breaking strong like some of the other characters on the list. It's good, but it's not like OP. Infernus. I think Infernus is just turbo strong. I think Infernus is A+, personally. I think Infernus is just consistently strong. It's consistent value on any team. It's consistent. It's just a really good kit. I just think he's A+. This character is never weak. It's never been weak. It's if you have an Infernus on your team, you're never mad. Like it's just a good hero, good farming character, good laning. It's just a good hero all around. Ivy, I think Ivy is also just A-, top of A-. Ivy is a good hero, but it's not like dominating games like she was before. Like Ivy was S for like 3 months, but now she's good, but she's not like game-breakingly broken. There's a lot of heroes I'd rather have over Ivy. But definitely hovering around like worse than Abrams Infernus, but better than Haze Grey Talon type of character. Kelvin. Kelvin is very annoying. I still think Kelvin's good. I'm gonna go ahead and put Kelvin in A+ as well. I do think Kelvin's very strong still. C? Nah, ain't no way. I don't think just the changes from last patch put Kelvin from S to C. I don't think so. I think he's still very strong. A lot of the changes are really not that big of a deal in my opinion. Lady Geist. So Lady Geist feels very strong at some points, but kind of just feels outscaled and pretty immobile in the current meta. I mean, she has a hard time interacting with a lot of the current strong characters, and what I mean by that is like a lot of the strong characters are things that are just very mobile, quick, tanky. You know, like you have like the Vindicta Moenkrill type of meta playstyle, Lash flying in the sky. I mean, like this character is just like a sitting duck for all of those strong characters. Like you're just so immobile. Like fights nowadays are so like quick, and this character just is just out tempoed. It's just like kind of outscaled. So I'm gonna put Geist in the B area. Doesn't really find that much value nowadays, I feel like. Lash, I mean, this character is just brain dead broken. I just can't lie. This character's gun does more damage than any character in the game with 4,000 souls and items at 50k. I mean, like, this Lash character does more damage than almost any character in the game with his gun with 1/8 of the investment. It's honestly a meme. Like, I'd like to see them increase his other things and reduce his base stats and gun damage because his base stats are just way too high, and this character suffers from the same thing as Pocket, where with no items, this character can just buy random item generator and do more damage than me trying my hardest to do damage. I mean, like, this character just needs some sort of rework to not have infinite base spirit res and gun damage. Like, his kit needs to be changed to do a little bit of other things. I don't like his current meta of just buying 4,000 souls and gun items and just out DPSing anybody. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. This character out DPSs almost every other DPS while flying in the sky with 4,000 souls and items. It's kind of crazy. Yikes, McGinnis. Where do I start with McGinnis? I think McGinnis is just useless and boring to play with and against. It's, like, annoying. But, like, I put McGinnis in B. Like, I think she can be strong, but I think a lot of characters just do her job better, personally. I don't want her to get buffed, because I think she's strong, but, like, she's not strong. Without a doubt, the only hero that should be C, kinda true. Let's see, who else would be C on this list? Yeah, makes sense to me. I'm down. This character's kit just kind of sucks. Yeah, you're right. It is a C tier character. A good McGinnis could be strong, but I think if you're really good at McGinnis, you could just do it better on any other character. Mo and Krill, hot take, I think this character's low-key S. Like, low-key. This character's kind of broken. Honestly, like, unrivaled shutdown potential. Like, this character's shutdown potential is, like bar none. Regardless of how many souls you have on the enemy team, obviously, except for when you have Unstoppable and all of these type of things, this character in good coordinated team play paired with, like, a Dynamo is just so difficult to deal with, and it's so frustrating. Like, the Phantom Strike ult combo in this game is just so... some games are so winnable, and you're so strong as your carry in your team, and just this character in the enemy team just completely eliminates that consistently. And there's not that much counterplay. Paradox, I mean, I think this character's kit is just very bothersome. I don't think he's, like, particularly broken. I mean, he is, but he isn't. This character's kit and the way he interacts with other people in the game is just very frustrating. I think Paradox is just broken for team play. This character has no cooldowns, does everything. Kind of just bothers me. Kind of just, like, in a good player's hands, this character creates so much space and picks for the team. It's just kind of OP. Pocket? Okay, this character just... honestly, this character just does infinite damage with it's just so tilting to play against. This character's damage amp is so high and the cooldowns are so low that dealing with this character is just such a headache, and it's so annoying. This character in good hands spamming actives and low cooldown actives with his kit, like, I mean, this character just doesn't die. It's actually mad annoying. I'd like to see his character changed a little bit. 7? I mean, 7's pretty bad. If I'm being transparent, 7 is pretty bad. 7 is, like, Grey Talon Geist tier, for sure. Don't think 7 fits very well into this meta. Don't think he's very good. Honestly, Vindicta's S. I don't know if this flying stuff is intended. Okay, I'm gonna make some revisions. You ready? Sorry, I'm gonna make it an edit. I'm putting Abrams back in S, and I'm putting Pocket at top of A+. Sorry, I just had a second thought. Why do I think Vindicta's S? Because... I don't even think it's intentional, but Vindicta's flight got changed from last patch to this patch, and just randomly has like 8 times the mobility as before, and just feels like a server admin, which none of the cast can kind of interact with. And the go-to sayings of, oh, just by knockdown, just by slowing hex, don't apply to her anymore, because her MS is so fast now in the air that you knock down this character and she can just fly so far away that your knockdown doesn't do anything, and she's just back in the sky and back to killing everybody from max altitude. And half of the character's kits in the games can't interact with her, and all of the ways that you previously would counter her, i.e. knockdown, paradox, bebop, talon, are all so hard nerfed, and she's so fast that, like, interacting with this character is impossible. So this character randomly spawned in with no clip when she was already strong, so, like, that character just doesn't really make any sense. Vindicta really just feels like a server admin. Really. I mean, Vindicta can just no-clip around the map and spawn in extra souls. It just feels like Gaben made this character just to, like, cheat in the game, honestly. That's just what it feels like in this patch. But Warden, I think, is an A- tier character. Warden is very strong and fits his role well. He's solid all around the game. But he's not, like, over-tuned or under-tuned. He's just a strong hero. Wraith? Okay, so I think Wraith is really strong. I think Wraith is A- on the same level as Haze and Warden. I think Haze fits her role really well and is a core DPS, and it's integral to a lot of teams, but it's not overtuned. It is counterable. It just feels like a strong character, very strong duelist. Wraith ult is garbage, but overall the kit is insane. I disagree. I think the ult, especially when it's max level, like, even though it's easily dodgeable, quote-unquote, it does cause a lot of actives and abilities to be used to dodge the ult, so I kind of feel like it's a very good, like, initiation ult. When Wraith ults, it forces a lot of cooldowns. A lot. And when you stack the cards in lane, you're one of the strongest laners still. She recently got her scaling buffed on the cards, so they are more impactful late game. I think this character's good. Yamato... So, like, this meta is just so tanky. And there's also, right now, the interaction is bugged where Yamato is supposed to not suffer from debuff effects during her ultimate at the moment. So, like, right now, this patch, Yamato is fire rate slowed by things in her quote-unquote unstoppable ult, which is kind of, like, annoying. Like, Yamato can be move slowed and shit in her ult, which is not supposed to, like, happen. But Suppressor does work on Yamato in her ult right now, which is not intended, which does, like, hinder her a lot. I think Yamato is on the same level as Grey Talon. I think Yamato is a very strong pick in, like, early game, and is probably better to pick than Seven and Geist. Kind of falls off pretty hard, and Kelvin kind of just screws Yamato really hard. Yeah, I think Yamato's B. She's really strong in early game, I feel like, but I don't think she's anything crazy. I mean, I think she's better than Grey Talon. Shiv, I think Shiv is just S tier broken. I think this character just does too much damage, and it is still too tanky, and I really can't figure out why. This character just needs more tuning, and we'll get more tuning. It's just still too oppressive, I think. This character suffers from the Deadlock-itis, which is like the Pocket Shiv Lash tier, where these heroes do too much damage with mystery items in their kit. This Shiv character can buy Decay, Extra Charge, Mystic Vuln, and Duration Extender, and just randomly spawn in 1100 damage slashes, and you also just spawn in with free resistances with your 3. Shiv just does too much damage. Alright, last but not least, Viscous. Viscous received a lot of nerfs. Tough one to swallow. I do think Viscous is really strong. He's good, amazing utility. I think I'm struggling to put this character in S. I think I'm gonna throw Viscous around here. I mean, this character will excel in team play rather than pubs, but I don't think he's overtuned, really. I think that's kind of where he slots in. A lot of these characters are plus or minus a tier in, like, a competitive environment. A lot of, you know, obviously in draft formats where certain characters are banned and certain characters are picked, some of these A- B tier characters have to be moved up and fill the spots in scrim environment and actually fill the role very well. But in a standpoint where you could pick any character you want on the list at any given point in any match, these characters are stronger, but it doesn't mean these characters don't fit value in certain situations. I think that's my list. Do you think McGinnis needs spell rework? Yeah, her kit is very bad. Her kit is just clunky and bad. Can you explain again why Bebop is only B? I mean, Bebop's grab potential is insane, is why you're saying Bebop is only B. Paradox does every single thing Bebop does on lower cooldowns with stronger utility in team fights, stronger utility in duo lane. Like Bebop is Paradox at home, but the noobs haven't understood how broken Paradox is, and it's a little bit harder to play. Like, Bebop is Paradox with training wheels, and then once you have Paradox, it's like, oh, I forget. Paradox is like 10 times the character Bebop is. Bebop's ult is nuts. I mean, like, I just don't feel like you're gonna play Bebop in a competitive environment and play Bebop beam build. Like, it's just like, nah. Not that powerful. Not realistic. What Viscous build is A tier? Like, in a competitive environment, the old Viscous build is still, like, A++ tier. And in a pub environment, the gun build Viscous is probably still A+ tier. Why is Abrams S tier? It's just a very strong hero. It's all around the board. Early game, late game, mid game. It's just always a strong, consistent hero on a team that's never going to be detrimental. There's no such thing as a weak Abrams. There's just no such thing. Abrams, even if you're 10k souls behind, has some of the space making and shutdown tools you need in a game. It's just good.